works with multiple ways to get documents into it. We use any kind of scanner, MFP device, anything like that. Fax works with a fax machine or an eFax. So if you guys have an eFax that you're using now, it'll work with that as well. If you don't, we can give you some great recommendations. And then lastly, you can just drag and drop documents in it. So multiple ways to get documents into our app. And then it is connected to PointClickCare. So all of all the stuff we need from PCC, your residents, your categories, all that stuff, we get automatically. So the beauty of it is it's really meant to be a huge time saver where your team would just log in, say this document goes to this resident, this document goes to this resident, and then they can fly through it and move on with their day and do the important stuff. But um, yeah, as I do it, if you guys have any questions, just interrupt me because I'll just yap all day. And so just feel free to interrupt me and I'm happy to dig a little deeper into whatever questions you got. I'm going to log in real fast. I can't talk and type at the same time. So we do have two-form authentication in a couple ways. I have text code. We do have Duo Authenticator, right? We do that as well. We're in the final stages now of SSO. In fact, I was just reading an email. They're doing the first testing now, so it should be live pretty quickly. Are you guys doing SSO over there?
Yep, we are. Yeah, so that would be perfect for us on this.
Yeah, awesome. Multiple ways to do it, and with all SSO, it gets kind of tricky, but it's been pretty slick so far, especially for account creations, disables, all that. Right, it's a pretty nice feature. So a lot of our bigger customers love that. But when you log in, like I said, three ways to get documents in: scanner, eFax, drag and drop. I'll show you the first one real fast. The easiest is your drag and drop. So if you have PDFs, on your desktop or whatever, you can just dump them right here to the top right corner. There's a limit you can put on there. By default, it's 10 at a time, but some people open that up to whatever. A lot of times when you're doing catch up, if you guys were paper before or some form of this, you might open that up and dump a couple hundred in there, and then they're going to show up on this dash. I'll talk about copiers next, but or last, but next let's just hit eFax. And we're a little bit different in our eFax. We don't sell eFax numbers. We want you guys to own them. So what we've done is we just made our app work with all the big HIPAA compliant eFax carriers. So if you guys are using one now, as long as they have the ability for us to spin up an API connection to them, we'll do that if we don't already have it. That way you can send and receive into our app with no problems, and it makes the app even easier so that when someone gets a fax, it goes directly in here. What I love about it is you can have multiple sources. So like I was just talking to someone a few minutes ago, they have all their faxes come into here as well as their email because they have their CNAs kind of do some stuff with the documents as well as MedRec, puts it into the chart. And so there's some great ways you can do it based on how it's configured that way. And then again, you guys own those numbers and they're in your possession. And also you can switch vendors too, which is really nice. Time to time, you got to do that. And there's no charge for the eFax part. So that's another cool thing. And then scanners, we do a couple ways, but ideally we use SFTP to send documents from a device, whether it's a copier, scanner, printer, whatever, over to our system. We can either do it directly on the glass or on the machine if it supports it, or there's multiple ways through, like little apps we can put on to help you push them to us. So either way, that's how you can get documents into our system. But when you do, you're going to have all your documents. So the idea is that I would take a piece of paper, I would create a shortcut on my scanner to scan to PCC. When I scan it, it's going to go directly into this app. And all I need to do is click one of the documents in here. When I do, it's going to go into here. It's going to show me the app, or it's going to show me the scan right here. Over to the right, there's four things you need to know when you're uploading the document to PCC: effective date, resident, document category, document name. Those four things are right here. And again, because we are connected to PointClickCare, you don't update this system at all. So I go down, the first one is my effective date. I can leave it, I can change it. Here's my residence. We pull these from PCC within a minute or two of you doing the admission. They're going to show up in here. You'll see last name, comma, first name. You have a D for discharge. You're going to have an A for active. I only have discharges in our test system. And you'll have an N. If you guys are doing pre-admission stuff, waiting list, things like that, you'll have an N in there, which you can turn on or off if you're using that. And you'll obviously see your familiar resident ID there. You can do that as well. And then this next one is your categories. So anything under miscellaneous documents, whatever categories you have in PCC now, we're going to grab, we're going to put in there. Any adjustments you make will adjust, update our system in real time. So I can either scroll down or I can just start typing. I like to type because I don't want to scroll down that huge list. And then this last one here is what you want to name the document when it gets into PCC. By default, we're going to name it the category because most of the time what we've seen is most of the time people will take their categories and they will do, I'm going to find you an example. Oh, it used to have a category called discharge documents. Now we have a couple overflows, transfer, stuff like that. So when I click it, I don't even have to name the document anymore. It's already named. And that saves that one more step. And then all I do is but I can, if I want to add something to this, let's say I want to change this around, I could do whatever I want in here. And that's what's going to show in the miscellaneous documents tab for the document name in there. And then I just hit one of these two green buttons. Upload in a homepage is going to take me back to the homepage. Upload in next is going to obviously upload it and just load up the very next document in the queue. So I'm going to hit this one because I want to go back to the homepage. So let me kind of show you what it looks like just in real time. I'm going to come in, I'm going to look at the document, I'm going to scroll down, I'm going to find my resident, I'm going to scroll down, find my category. If I want to add something to the name, I can, and then I just hit upload. That's all I need to do, and that document will be in the chart in PCC within 60 seconds. We send every document, all of our documents queue up. So every minute on the minute, we send them out. So it could take up to 60 seconds for your document to get in there. But that's the extent of all you need to do to get a document in there. Now, that works really good if you got one document going to one chart. But a lot of times, you might have, let's say, let me give you a better example. That's a one pager. Here's a 24-page document. Let's say it was a fax that came in. Maybe it was like from the hospital, they sent over a bunch of stuff on a new resident you have, or a doctor sent over a bunch of progress note, who knows? This is going to be a large document. I got 24 pages. I can scroll through, I can see them. If I want to split this into multiple residents, I can't use this here, but I can go up to the top here where this scissor tool is, and I can click this scissor tool. Let me zoom in. And I can take one document and I can go like this. I'm going to say Karina Bailey. These are her ancillaries. Pages 1 through 4 are that. Then I can scroll down and I go, oh, you know what? At page 5, it's actually a different resident, and I can pick a different resident, a different category, and just start breaking this PDF into a bunch of different pieces. So I go 5 through 8 there, and then I can go and keep breaking it up as much as I want. And I can do this, and I can change the name, and I can do 9 of 24. And then I can hit split. And what's really cool about the scissor tool is just in those couple clicks now, I took that one document, that one scan or fax or whatever it was, and put it into 3 different charts in PCC. There's no rules to the to the scissor tool. What I mean by that is if a fax comes in, let's say, and it's all for the same resident, let's say it's 3 different categories, or maybe it's the same category and you just want to break it up so you don't have one document with 100 pages. You want to break up these things. There's no rhyme or reason you can't do that in here. So I can pick same resident and just use the same category. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to use all of the same, I only use all the pages. So I can start on page 2 and do, this is a 12 pager. So let's do 2 of 12. And let's say I want to do, test. I can overlap them as well. So I can send 2 and 12 to here, which maybe is a different resident. Anything I do in here, the system will do. Sometimes you'll want to put one document in multiple charts. Sometimes you'll want to do, oh, I don't need all the pages. Some of them were blank when they came over. So I don't want to send the cover page, whatever it may be. So whatever you put in here, it's going to accept. And then it's going to break up that document and put it into whatever you do, upload it into that chart right away. So the scissor tool is super powerful. When you're scanning, multiple things, if you've got a big, group of papers and you put them on the scanner, or when you turn on the fax, we see it the most. A lot of times you'll get a fax from a hospital with just a ton of stuff put together instead of that. And before you'd have to save the PDF, break it up, right, and then upload them one at a time. Well, that scissor tool is a big time saver there. I'm going kind of quick. So is there any questions so far? Cool.
I am loving the multiple scan documents. Quick question on the document name. Can they put numerics? A lot of times they'll do like a HMP with the date so we can run reports to make sure like our every 6-month HMPs have been requested and uploaded. You can. Awesome.
Yeah, you can do anything you want in there. You can put anything you want. There's also something that we're testing that's kind of fun too. It might work in that example, and I've heard this a couple times. So I have a customer who says, hey, every time I put in a progress note, I want it to have the date of the progress note in the name. And so we have a thing where they pick progress note. Instead of it just saying progress note here, it puts the date as well. So we're testing that. So if that's something you want to do, we're adding that feature. So it'd be like category name plus, some kind of things you'd add in there as well. Because we're really just trying to save as much time as possible. So you can do that as well. And you would just hit upload, boom, you can put anything you want in there. Yeah, that scissor
Okay.
tool, is a huge one, right? Because even if you're scanning, you put a whole bunch of stuff on the glass, and then you don't have to separate it back at your desk or even at the scanner sometimes, and you have to do them 2 pages, hit scan, 2 pages, hit scan. It's kind of a pain in the butt. And so that scissor tool is a really big one. Some of the
Total
things are
time saver.
yeah, right.
Mhm.
Some of the things our app will do automatically that you won't even see. Bad example because this is a very small file size, but if let's say your maximum file size you can upload to PCC is 20 megabytes. It's kind of different for most customers. So let's say it's 20 megabytes. If your PDF was 22 megabytes, our system will accept it. You don't have to break it up. When it gets into PCC, it's going to look like this. Part 1 of 2 and 2 of 2 automatically, and it'll do that and just break it into the requirements to get it through the whatever your file specs are at PCC. For some reason, there's 3 or 4 different tiers there. I see in between 5 and 25 megabytes. So it'll automatically sense it and then it'll break it up. You won't see it right here, but you'll see it when you get into PCC. So you don't have to take a PDF if it comes to you and it's 28 megabytes. You just dump it in the system and it's going to automatically do it for you. It'll also take blank pages. So sometimes when you scan stuff, you might get a blank page here and there. And if it's perfectly blank, our system is going to remove it automatically, which is a really nice feature in there as well. And then we do a lot of compression and stuff, but we never change the quality of the document. So whatever it comes in as, we want to make sure it's the same quality, but sometimes there's compression, we can do. And then PCC also does that. So that usually helps with the file size as well. Any questions so far on uploading? That's good? Cool.
None for me.
Here's some of the things that I really like about it. I mean, the scissor tool is one of my favorites, but the other thing I really liked, I spent a ton of time in medical records while we're building this, and my whole life been in SNFs. And so what I really enjoyed was I would get times where, let's say a doctor calls and says, hey, I need you to fax that over, and then you want to put it in the chart. Say I have this document, I need to get it to a doctor. If you have eFax turned on, you can click this eFax tab right here, and you can actually fax out from here as well. So I'm going to do this. Yours will have an address book right here. The demo version doesn't, but you have an address book so you can save names and numbers and all that. You can save cover pages. I got one saved in here. I can say Dr. Smith, your notes. There you go. And then I can tell it to email me. The reason we ask that, you can email you if you want or no email is sometimes your current eFax provider already does that. So you might not want to, but if it doesn't, you can say, hey, email me if there's an error or email me when the fax, whatever happens. So then I can say send eFax and delete, or what I want to do is send eFax and send to PCC. So I'm going to do that. The fax is going out right now. Then I can pick my resident. I can pick my category and I can upload it to homepage. And now I have a fax that's going out to the doctor's office, and I have a document also in the chart in PCC, which is super nice. I never need to leave here. I just have to do it one time in here. And then the great part too is if you guys already have eFax, there's no charge for all this stuff. It just works with your eFax company now. So it's just an integration that we add in there. And then what's also nice is you get eFaxes directly in here. So you'll see right here, here's an eFax that came in. So if you have eFax set up for MedRec, they get a fax, comes right in. I don't even have to scan it. I can click it. I can say, oh, this is for, whatever, resident Karina Bailey. And I can look at it. And if I want the cover page, I can save it. I can upload it. Sometimes you want the cover page because there's notes in here. Let's say I don't. I use the scissor tool. So I'd pick Karina Bailey. I'd go here and I'd just say page 2 of 2 because I don't want page 1 split. And now that EFAX just went into the chart in PCC as well. So the EFAX is pretty slick when you get that plugged in there. Everything we do in here is logged. So all the scans you send to PCC are going to be in here. Here's a chronological view of everything ever scanned. Here's one by resident, so I can go through and see there was 6 documents uploaded to Karina Bailey. If I click it, here's the 6. Obviously, these 3 here are blank because my system is a demo. It'll delete them in a minute, but you're going to always have like uploaded by PCC at this time and this place and so on. And that stays forever. We never remove that. What we do though is the moment PCC accepts that PDF, we remove the PDF from our system and we'll just keep a log of the transaction. That way we know it's in the chart. We don't need a copy of it, but you'll keep this log forever. Even after they discharge, it'll still be in there, which is really nice. I'm going to kind of walk through some of these things at the top. Up here, EFAX. This is just a list of my EFAX. Again, if you already are using it, you might have a system already in place. So we're not trying to reinvent the wheel, but you can see that in here. So your system will show really quickly. Oh, here's all the faxes. Here's the one I just sent. It already went. If I go back to my dashboard here, that fax is right here. That's the one I just sent a second ago, and I can process it. So that's a really nice tab. Corporate is, yeah, obviously, multiple locations. I can go in here. I can give this to certain users. Not everybody's going to get it. Let's say you guys have this. You can look in and see here's who's using it, what categories are being used. We're actually building this out a tremendous amount right now. So there's a lot more reports and analytics coming in here. But from in here, you'll be able to get usage, who's using it, how often they're using it, what categories they're using, stuff like that. And then under facility, this is where you can set up your building. So let's see, I'm going to pick mine. I can actually go in and do all the settings for the building. So I can see who's using it. Here's the users. If there's login issues, it is locked down to your IP address. So this is where you put your IP address to make it work. We also do dynamic addresses. If you guys are using dynamic IP addressing, you can put that in there as well. Other kind of, whatever setups for the facilities, and then where you'd manage the users. Now, if you're using single sign-on, this actually just disappears, but this is where you can change that in here, which is kind of nice. You can have access just like PCC to multiple buildings. So what I really like about it when I was in MedRec is, sometimes you cover for other buildings. Sometimes, hey, so-and-so's out on LOA, we need to help them. I can quickly in here just click this and transition to a different building in there really fast and help them upload documents without having to physically be there. And that's all done right through here. I can say these users have access to these buildings, very similar to PCC. Whether you temporarily give it to someone, maybe they're just helping for the day, or it's a regional person who covers buildings like that. So very flexible in how you do it. I have a lot of customers who use that. Gosh, some funny examples like a small sniff chain that only has a 1 med rec and they kind of bounce around from building to building every day. And so they can keep everything updated by just, being at one building, the receptionist over here would scan it and they could upload it here and get it in the chart. So now their stuff's in the chart same day and they don't have to physically be there, which was a big deal. I have another one who does, they're in the Philippines. So they have a receptionist scan documents. And then people in the Philippines do this part of it where they upload it into PCC. And then another one's kind of a corporate location or regional, kind of consolidated location where they do the uploading. So very, very flexible in how you can set it up. Couple things under settings. I mean, pretty minor stuff in here, but one of the things I always like to highlight is the training videos. Although it says training videos, there's, videos in there pretty self-explanatory, but the thing that I like is free training. We are high turnover, right? It just kind of is what it is in our industry. And so if you have a med rec new in a building and 4 weeks from now and you're like, hey, I don't want to train them, they click that button. They can schedule any time, any day that works for them, and we'll train them for free. It's always free. They just pick a day, a time. And then that way we can just always make sure that people are using it. Some of our customers do their own training, totally fine as well, but that's always an option in there. The other thing in here that I like to highlight, especially, at more of a regional level, is the data retention. Inside of here, we do have a fail safe. So the part that I always was want to make sure that documents don't get scanned and then left in here. You want to make sure that they get into the chart. And so what we have is a data retention policy in here. If something gets scanned and it sits in here for more than a week, if your setting is a week, which I would recommend, it's going to start emailing and saying, hey, David, you got documents in here, please upload them. And if you read through here, it says it's going to be sent every day for 7 days. Then it says after that, it's going to permanently be deleted. Just know we don't ever delete documents. What'll happen on that 8th day, someone on our team will reach out on the phone and just say, hey, what's going on? How can we help? And they'll make sure of it, but we don't actually delete it. We do put that in there just to kind of put a little excitement in people to get that thing uploaded to PCC. And it seems to work. So it's just something you can adjust in here so that documents don't get stuck in here. And then under support, which I really like, is free support. And not only just free support, but quick support. If you have any trouble whatsoever, you go under support, you can chat in real time with someone. You click this between 8 and 5, you're going to talk with someone that's right out here. Fantastic, fun team. They're really great. Whatever you need, they'll help your team as well. And what's neat about it is it's custom to your company. So some of our customers love that. Some of them say, hey, that's great, but we have our own support. And so we can make this page just however you want. Maybe you want, maybe you don't want that. Maybe you just want to direct them to your support. We can do that as well. And so this page is customized. We can turn on and off the modules based on how you want to run that part. So last thing I would say in here that's fun for me, you guys are multiple sites, right?
That's correct.
Yes.
How many locations are you guys?
63.
63.
One of the
That
things
would
that we do
use uploading.
what's that?
63 that would likely want something like this available. Yes.
One of the things that we do that's really fun is we do a monthly giveaway. And I know it's silly, but it actually really works. Every month we pull, in fact, we'll pull it today. Over the last month, we picked the one facility that has the most scans. And then we pick one user each week that has the most scans. And then we send those results to you. And then we send you guys gift cards, or we'll send them out for you. The winner, the facility with the most scans gets a $50 Starbucks. Each week, the user gets a $20 gift card. So that way it really helps people get, excited to use it, to push the documents into PCC ultimately. So those things are in there so we can provide better care. But what we do is we partner with you, and we can either do it for you or we partner with you. Some of our customers just want us to do it for them, but we'll send you that list. And then we'll say, hey, do you want us to send you the cards, or do you want us to send them out for you? And we'll partner with you in those things. And believe it or not, that's been highly effective to get people to really get these documents in there. It gets pretty darn competitive. I've already got emails today asking who won in certain buildings for certain customers. So just something we add on to that, and we do for free, but just something fun want to do. But yeah, that was kind of quick, but any questions or anything you want me to go through again?
What happens to a corrupted scan or something if there's an issue, it doesn't come in properly? How does the system handle those?
So if you have a corrupted PDF that you're trying to, like, if there's corruption in the PDF you're trying to push over to our SFTP server, it's not going to accept it. It's going to it'll grab the file and then it won't even push it into here. It'll let us know there was an issue. Sometimes we see that in the very beginning of a relationship with a new customer. Maybe there's something going on if the script is cutting it off mid scan or mid process. Like sometimes the scanner's still sending the document and the script will pass the file. So we'll catch most of those. Once the system's up and going, it's pretty solid. It doesn't, we don't get many, but what'll happen is it'll get rid of it. It won't even show up in here. It'll highlight the team that there was an error, and then they'll start trying to figure out what's going on. Typically, if it's a one-off, they're not going to do a whole lot. If there's a couple, they're going to reach out to the IT and just say, hey, what's going on? See if we can figure this thing out and test it. But a corrupt one will never show up in here. It'll never even make it into the app.
Okay. No OCR capability in the system, correct?
No, we don't. The main reason we don't, we're working on it now where it'll actually predict you know, like you'll come in here and it'll already have, say, Karina Bailey in there. We're working on that now. It works pretty good. What we've found most people say is that that's going to be great, but they don't want us to take it to that next step where we're pushing it to the chart automatically, just because it's so fast and the chance of error, like if you put a wrong document in a wrong chart, you know, the cost of that can be kind of troublesome. So what we envision probably pretty soon is that when you go in, let's say you load this document for the first time, it might look like that when you load it up. And then you would just confirm it and hit upload. But we wouldn't take it to that next step where we're passing through this whole thing automatically.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's a bit of tough one, believe it or not. I mean, you know, with AI and everything, it's been kind of easy if your documents are kind of the same or at least some familiar for the AI. But because we have so many documents in so many formats and so many things, it's hard for it to do it quick enough for it to be a benefit. But I think they're getting closer to it. Couple other just real quick things on it. You'll notice here there is an HRIS tab. What that is we have the ability, just like you can scan to PCC, you do have the ability to scan to your HRIS system. So if you're using Kronos, UKG, you know, any of the bigger ones, you will have the ability to, if you want it, be able to upload into an employee file. So as an example, you might want to be uploading, your payroll team might want to upload into, you know, nurse certs into a nurse's file or something like that. You can do that as well. We're testing it now, probably by the end of summer is what we're looking like on that. There's also one other integration that we're finalizing now, which is my favorite, is the DocuSign one. So if you guys are using DocuSign, you can actually from in here, there's a tab here that says DocuSign, and I could create a template in DocuSign. And I would just make a template in DocuSign. Let's say it's an admission agreement. I put it in there. I go in here. I click DocuSign. I see my admission agreement. I click that, and then I pick which resident it's for. It'll pre-fill the document, put it right in front of you. Then you can send it out for signatures. Then once it goes out for signatures and the signatures are received, it'll actually automatically come right back into the app and show up right here. Just a perfect flow all the way through. That's something we're finishing now. We've been using it in our facilities for quite a while, but there's some new changes at DocuSign that we had to readjust. So probably in the next month you'll see that. But that's a really powerful one too. So if you guys are using DocuSign, something you'll see pretty soon.
What does your roadmap look like, and how do we request new features if we want to see them in the system?
So this is going to be funny to you. I've been in software development forever, and one of the things that always bothered me was, I won't mention names, but you certain companies, right? You say, "Hey, I'd love this feature," and they go, "Perfect, we're going to put it on the feature request," and then you never hear from them. We put it right here, and literally as simple and goofy as that sounds, you put in there what you want, or if it's you guys, you just would call me or David. And then they put it in there. Someone will review it that day, and then they'll tell you how quickly it gets in there. This app was built around feedback from facilities. We all come from nursing homes. This is all we do. So most of the enhancements, they're pretty darn quick to get in there. A lot of them are usually within like 2-3 weeks. Now, if they're giant ones, integrations, they might take a little bit longer, but even still, they're still pretty fast in there. But as simple as it is, you just put it right here under feature request, or you can reach out to David with a suggestion as well. We do review every single one of them, and I have an empty board right now of them from people because they do them so fast. So there's only a handful they don't do. Usually they're like very, very specific to somebody. But even the one I was saying a minute ago, where you go in here and you pick your category and it's an activity and it just pre-populates something, that was something somebody just came up with last week. And so they just started building it and they're already testing it. It goes that quick. The longest part with it really is the SOC 2 auditing and all the, all that stuff we have to do for compliance. They're the team we have here, they just love it and they build it pretty fast. I can't say everything's going to go that fast, but I mean it's night and day what we've been used to in the industry for sure. It's pretty darn quick.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, of course. All great questions. Any others?
Awesome. Thanks for taking the time, guys. I will follow up with a quick email. It just kind of outlines our pricing structure and our agreement. Just to quickly go over that with you, we do have a tiered pricing structure. For 1 to 2 facilities, it's $149 a month. From 3 to 49 facilities, it goes down to $129 a month. And then it sounds like you guys would fall in the plus 50 category, which is a $99 a month. And that's unlimited users and unlimited scanners across the board. Our agreement is month to month, so you're not tied down by any means. We do offer a 10% discount if there is a 24-month commitment. But I'll share all that information with you, like I said, in a quick follow-up email. And then I'll share that agreement and our marketplace activation piece as well, just so you guys have everything in front of you. And if there's any questions that arise in the next couple of days, we'll stay tight to you guys. If you do have any questions, we'll make sure we get those answered for you. And if you guys did want to test it, let's say in one of your busier facilities or a facility that's definitely needs this tool, we're happy to trial it for 30 days for you guys, risk-free. So would be excited to get it in and get your feedback. And once again, thank you for taking the time to kind of jump on with us and review this tool. Like I said, it's been very impactful for us, and hopefully it'll do the same for you guys.
Thank you so much. Super appreciate it.
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you guys. Have a great rest of the
Thank
day.
you.
You too.
Alrighty.